So I got an interesting question on Twitter from Conrad. He asks, as a booker, what do you value the most in wrestlers? I think generally speaking, your job could be a very fascinating start for various topics. You'd think being a booker is not as fascinating as one might assume. One thing is safety, and I'll try to get to maybe 4 or 5 things. One is definitely safety. You want guys that are safe and that when someone gets in the ring with them, they are relaxed and not worry about if they're going to be involved in a bad bump, if the other guy's technique isn't very sharp, if he tries to make shit up on the fly and just go for a suplex off the top rope, like a tiger driver off the top rope, something. You want your guys to be worried about putting out the best match and not if they're going to make it through the match. So that's one thing. You want people that are safe, that you can integrate into your roster with zero problems in that aspect. Another big thing for me is selling. If you don't know how to sell, you're never going to put the other guys over, guys and gals. You're never going to be able to show the crowd that the people you're fighting are good and that they have credibility. If you can't do that, you're not much use in a wrestling promotion. And there's actually a good thing about selling, which is this. Picture a guy whose technique isn't as sharp as it could be yet. Let's say he's been training for a year, but he sells very well. Or at the very least, his selling is serviceable. This is a guy who's not ready to be a mid-card guy, or certainly not a main eventer, but it's a guy you can use as enhancement talent. It can put other people over and get some experience. Why? Because he can sell. This is good for you, and this is good for the person in question. Another thing I look at a lot is striking, because I think it was Dana White that said this. Not everyone can understand jiu-jitsu, not everyone can understand a single leg takedown. Everyone can understand a punch and a kick. Language couldn't be more universal than somebody getting punched in the face. So this for me tells me the following. If you can punch, if you can kick, you immediately have a connection with the crowd. If you can make them believe that your punches are real, or at the very least, when they see your punch up close, they go, whoa, I'm not sure this was 100% fake. This is another thing you can use. Another big thing is listening. You want people that will listen, because young guys are surrounded by people in most academies and in most promotions by guys and gals that have been doing this longer. They've seen more, they've experienced more, they've spent more nights without being able to sleep because they're thinking about what they're going to do next, what they're going to talk about, what kind of things they're going to put in their matches. They've been through more obstacles, they've committed more mistakes. This is immensely valuable for rookies if they'll listen, if they're coachable. And this is very important for me. Everyone makes mistakes. The critical factor of success for me is, what do you do after you've committed these mistakes? Do you listen to the people who call you out on them, who sit you down, talk to you a little bit about them? So here's what you did wrong. Here's what you can try to do next time. Are you coachable? Because people who are coachable are the people that will be better and better and better, and are the people that, if their technique is sharp, if they're safe, they're the people that are going to climb up. Because not only are they going to be better and better, you're going to establish as a booker a dialogue with them, and they're going to become kind of like your partners. Because there are people that not only can you talk to them and tell them what you want and what you think still isn't up to par, but as time goes by and they become more experienced, they're going to start to be also telling you what you could be doing better and how a certain angle may not be the best for their character and what they're trying to do. Because as a booker, that's something that happens very often. You can be setting up a show for 10, 12, 15 workers, for example. You're thinking about 15 workers at the same time, and you're building the entire puzzle. But each of those guys and gals are going to be thinking about their individual piece of the puzzle. which means because you're thinking big picture and they're thinking about their part of the picture, they're going to have insights that a lot of the times a booker's not going to have. They're going to go into deeper detail. You're going to think of things that someone like me is not going to think about. And being coachable means that they will listen and they will create a partnership with you, and you will in turn be more willing to listen to them. And finally, one of the things I try to look at a lot is, what can I use? Do I see a path for them? I will give you an example. 2-3 years ago, I met a gentleman by the name of Marcus here in Lisbon, Portugal, and he had been training for, I think, short of a year. And he was in practice wrestling a training match with Bammer. Bammer is arguably one of the best wrestlers in Portugal, if not the best. I'm a little biased because he's one of my best friends. But so you have a young rookie wrestling the guy who's actually the head trainer at the time, one of the best in Portugal. And at the end of the match, we do a review, as we always do. Bammer says what he thinks. I say what I think. The senior members of the roster sometimes say something. And then Marcus, the rookie, decides he's going to say something. And what he says is this: you know, Bammer, that DDT you did in the middle of the match, And, you know, Bammer just laughs it off, and I'm just looking at this guy, and I'm just saying, the nerve on this little peon, that you can be a rookie telling the best wrestler in Portugal what he did wrong in the middle of the match. And this lasted for 5 seconds. Because after 5 seconds, my thought was, this could be a character. The guy who just graduated from the academy, he's not that experienced, but he thinks he is. Fast forward to 6 months later, this guy's doing his entrance to Eye the Tiger with the white towel around his neck, you know, like just, like he knows he's going to work very hard and he needs a towel. And when he takes the towel out of his neck, you can see that the black t-shirt he came in with has in white letters on his chest saying veteran. And every time he succeeds in the start of the match, he looks over at the crowd and he says, see, you should be taking notes and stuff like that. So the veteran, just from him just from the rookie giving the main event guy feedback like he did, got me thinking, you know, you can use this. And from the story I just told you, it's easy to think that he's a guy who's in his own head too much, that he's very arrogant, which he isn't. He's actually a very good kid, and I've been getting to know him the last few years, and he's actually a very good kid. His head is screwed on straight, very easy to work with. So I don't know exactly why that happened in that particular moment, but I'm glad it did, because even though he's not cocky, he's not arrogant, that's something that is inside him. And if that's inside him, you can use it. So that's the last thing that I'm always looking for, because if it's natural to you as a wrestler, and if I can use it to create a character, the odds are the crowd is gonna feel connected to it.